Hi guys, this is Jana here, welcome back. Today we're going to make the second video of the 3 recipes that we're going to make using the homemade vegan meat. The one made with 2 ingredients. Check there after the video because this is that easy. It's the simplest and the most cheap and the most nutritious meat ever. And it's an alternative to pure seitan. As I explained before, it has a lot of texture, a lot of flavors, and you can use it in a whole lot of different ways. So let's get into it. First of all, we're gonna get our meat that we prepared last week. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to tell you we're gonna make lasagna. How dumb of me. Okay guys, so we're gonna make lasagna. And we start by sauteing the meat a little bit because it's cooked but not completely, because remember we put a little bit of seitan flour, so I need to treat that a little bit and cook it so it transforms into something elastic and a little bit more chewy. That's the reason why we added the seitan flour. So I'm going to saute it a little bit with some mirepoix that we also made another day. Click there, and so easy, it's so worth it having in your fridge. And the reason why I like using this mixture called the mirepoix, which is, like I said, celery, onions, and carrots, it's because it adds a little bit more flavor and a little bit more vitamins, because, hello, lots of vegetables instead of just onions. Today I'm not going to use garlic. I'm going to use garlic powder, just to be a little bit different. And it works, trust me. And the advantage of garlic powder is you don't get that either raw or burnt flavor if you're not too comfortable or familiar cooking with garlic, so you always save using garlic powder. That's why sometimes I skip it and use garlic powder. It's so much easier. Alright, at this point we're going to add the meat. I have half a kilo here, a little bit more perhaps. The mushroom meat, the seitan meat, it's sticking to the bottom a little bit. The reason is because I'm using stainless steel. A pot, that's not the best choice, because if you use stainless steel, it especially if you're cooking protein, it tends to get stuck to the bottom. But I used it because I didn't want to use any anti-stick or Teflon because they're black, and I wanted you to see exactly what's going on and the colors and everything. And if the bottom is also black or dark, so you can't see properly, so forgive me on that. It was for your own good and protection. Perfect. Now to add pepper and a little bit of salt. Not too much, because we're going to add homemade tomato sauce that we made also in the other video. You can click there. Every time I make tomato sauce, I make 2-3 batches and then I freeze it, because I prefer to have my own tomato sauce other than buying it. 1 bay leaf, medium-low heat, 5-6 minutes, and you are good to go. Now what we're going to do is, if you want your sauce really dark, you can add a little bit of tomato paste, concentrated tomato paste. So now I'm going to add the tomato sauce. Not all of it. Alright, since the tomato sauce is already cooked, because I have made it, like I said before, and I have frozen it. So now what I want to do is, I want the flavors to talk to each other. They don't need to cook through, so they don't need too much time. That will be in very, very low heat. That will be about 8-10 minutes in very low heat again. You can add a little bit of water if you think it's getting too dry, so it's up to you. You be the judge of your ground meat. So I'm just gonna cover it and wait about 8 to 10 minutes, not more than that. It doesn't need cooking. Again, I'm repeating myself, I know, but it's important. If you cook seitan too much, or if you cook the mushrooms too much, instead of developing the flavors, they are going now to lose a little bit and get a little bit soggy, so we want the firmness. Don't overcook it. So I'll be back in 10 minutes. Okay, so now we're back. Our meat has cooked to perfection. Now I just put my oven to preheat at 200 degrees Celsius. And now we're going to assemble the lasagna, which is the easiest part and, to me, in my opinion, the funnest part. So I always start with a little bit of the midlist meat, just so the lasagna sheets don't get stuck to the bottom. Just a tiny bit. Right. And what I'm using is just like a gluten-free, because why not, right? And pop it in here. I'm not gonna bother cooking it. I like actually when it's not cooked before. And this is it. Now, a layer of the meat. Be generous. Right, a little bit of vegan cheese. Another layer of the lasagna sheet. Oops, come back here. Another layer of the meat. Lasagna is always the comfort food. I think that it's an international thing. Well, I'm not sure about that. I know that in Brazil, where I'm from, that's my oven telling me that it's ready. In Brazil, where I'm from, it's very popular, probably because of the Italian influence. But I don't know if you guys know, but there's a lot of Italians in Brazil and Germans, especially in the south. And that made the food, especially in the south again, to get so rich and so full of flavors from Italy, Germany, Poland, Portugal, Spain. So it's a lot of different things going on and mixed together. It turns out to be just like the most peculiar kind of food, yet very comfort, very delicious. And it's one of the best things about food, right? When you feel comforted when you eat it. And that's why we, in this channel, we make so much comfort food, because as the word says itself, it makes you comfortable. Okay, a little bit more cheese. You can either not add any cheese at all, or you can add one layer of cheese. I like to add a little bit in between. Sometimes not. Well, there's no rule about that. That's one of the beauties about making lasagna, right? There's no rule. Remember, guys, that I made an alfredo sauce the other day. Yes. So to this alfredo sauce, I added half a block of tofu, just for extra protein. And it gets a little bit more hard, as you can see. You don't need to spread it so evenly, because once it goes in the oven, it's going to get smooth because of the heat, and then it's gonna spread. Now the last layer. I always like to finish my lasagna with the meat substitute, or the chopped vegetables, whatever you're using with the sauce, because it gets prettier this way. I'm gonna finish with the rest of the cheese. Save a little bit for later, because I like to add a little bit of cheese right before eating. It will melt, because this cheese, it's the kind of vegan cheese that melts. That's the one we love. And this is it. I'm gonna pop it in the oven for about 30-35 minutes in 200 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure how much it is in Fahrenheit, but I'm gonna write it down for you. And this is it, lovers, and I'll see you back. Bye. All right, the lasagna is ready. Look at that. Beautiful, isn't it? Now, just a little bit of garnish, a little bit of parsley. Beautiful. What I think it's worth mentioning is that before I cut the lasagna, I always wait 10, 15, sometimes even 20 minutes, because this way it doesn't get too runny. It's still very moist and still very rich and full of flavors and very creamy, but then it doesn't like split completely in the plate. Let's get a little bit here. This is just perfect. It smells fantastic. We have used our meat, the raw one, not the one that I sauteed, but I could have, but I wanted to show you guys how it is if you use the frozen one, and that's exactly what happened. So it's like easy. Like I said, I keep repeating myself, but that's true. It's very, very easy, and it's very healthy, and it's good for the environment, it's good for the animals, and it's especially good for your body. You can add a little bit of basil on top if you like. Sometimes I do that instead of the parsley, but today I added parsley and I'm going to try these. Oh God, here we go. Oh my God. It's rich. It's very delicate. It is like mouth-filling. I have nothing to say other than it's just fantastic. You have to try it out by all means. So this is it for today, guys. Next week we have the third recipe using the easiest vegan meat on earth that we just made. Don't forget to follow me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And the recipe is written down below as always. Visit the website as well, www.chefjanapinheiro.com, and have a wonderful week. See you next time. Bye-bye. Follow me on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and have a wonderful kid. Good.